Okay, hope you're all well. So we're going to talk rear suspension on this video. We have two DRZ shocks which are all in great condition. Well, that one is not in so much good condition compared to this one. The rubber boot's better on this one. This one's a bit manky. This one was the original shock that came on the 2008 SM. However, through my channels I've acquired an older shock which is the same, which is in better condition, and all the gas and everything like that is cool on it to reuse. But this is a standard shock spring on the DRZ, okay, and that is weighted for your inverted commas average rider loaded with gear. Now some of us, probably many of us out there, are a little bit heavier than the average bear. All right, so let me tell you what I like to do, what I like to order, and what I do with my shocks. So tomorrow, which is Sunday, I'm going to be taking this shock spring off and I'm going to be putting this shock spring on, which is a K-Tech spring, and that's weighted for me and my riding gear, and this is 120 kg weighted spring. So that is the model number of this for you guys that are a bit larger than the average bear with all your gear on, and you're thinking, well, I'm about 110, 120 maybe with all my gear on. This is what you order. Okay, so this is what it looks like. You have a choice of colours that you can order them in: blue, purple, yellow, etc. But what we'll be doing is we'll be slackening off these two nuts to take the compression out of a spring, taking them all the way up to the top tomorrow, and then there's a circlip in this collar here that we need to get out to release this collar, and then the spring comes off this way. I'll give this a courtesy clean tomorrow. I'll mount the new spring, put the collar back on, put the circlip back on, and then she will be mounted in the frame along with the airbox, which I've cleaned. I've got two of them. I've cleaned one up for this. I think it's the original one I've cleaned up. It were all in top nick. Nobody'd cut big 3x3 holes out of the top of this one. So we'll be trying this with a flat side carbonate with bigger jets. See my jetting video on this, and then we'll try it without the 3x3 airbox mod in it, see how it runs. We're going to dyno it. Then what we're going to do is we're going to cut the 3x3 airbox or swap it over, because that one of these airboxes has a 3x3 mod in it already. One doesn't. I don't need to butcher another box. I don't like butchering stuff. But then we'll swap it over to see what the difference is on a dyno result with my mates, to see if there is any real performance gain, right? Rather than just riding it on the road and thinking, well, is it any faster? Is it better on pickup? Whatever. Well, let's see the test results on the dyno of this one. So yeah, these shocks are readily available off the website, and I will post a link to the website for the K-Tech website. You can go there direct, put your weight in, put what type of bike you've got in, and then you can order direct the correct shock for your weight on your bike. It ain't rocket science. You don't need to send it off to anybody or anything like that. If you're gonna need these regassing or anything like that, then you do need to send them off. But if the gas is good and everything, the shock's in decent condition like this one is, this one just needs a rubber boot on the bottom there, but in order to replace that, it's a bit of a ball ache if you don't know what you're doing with it. It probably would clean up once I get the shock spring off, but I have an abundance of these shock springs at the minute going on. I think I've got about 6 of them, because my weight is larger than the average bear, and I always fork out 100 quid for about 120 quid for a new shock spring on all my builds that I do for me, because the weight, it's a lot better. So this is the rear suspension video on this project. I will be shooting a separate video for the front suspension on this bike, and what I'll be doing with the front suspension is I'll be replacing these corroded seals with a seal kit, both parts, and I'll be refilling them with oil and cleaning them up. I will be heat shrinking the fork tubes to protect them from anodizing. That'll be a separate video on this build, on the Barnfind 2008 SM build. And we're going to be reusing these beautiful shocks on this project. So see you soon. Thank you very much. Bye bye.